we're all on this planet for the same simple reason: to be ourselves and to live good lives. That's essentially what it boils down to. And we have fancy psychological terms like self-realization and self-actualization, largely because we've become so disconnected from ourselves, our being, our ability to sense and just exist. We were born perfectly, and yet we live in a world that's making us constantly question ourselves and believing that we're not enough as we are, that we need to be different, that we need to achieve, that we need to do this to prove our worthiness, our lovability, our desirability. But this space, I hope will be something different, because there's a lot of people on the internet who talk about living more meaningful lives, more joyful lives, flourishing, being the best person you can be. But almost all of that content is about what you can do. What more can you do? What routine, what habits, what diet, what practices, what philosophies, what books, what new exercise. It's all about consumption of knowledge and information and then doing a bunch of things. I hope that what you get from this space is a stripping away, is a return to who you've always been, to know that you are more than not just enough, because even just saying you're more than enough sounds so cliche these days, but that you are here to be who you are. And yes, you have to figure out how to make money. Yes, you want to be healthy. So I'm not discounting the value of the body of information that is out there about how we can be healthier and how we can live a better life. But the overemphasis on all the doing and the marginal touch points around being, to the point where a lot of people don't even know what I mean when I say just be instead of do. Be you instead of do something to become a better you. And this is really going to this is probably going to resonate with two kinds of people. The first is the person who has lived, who has survived, who has suffered, who has achieved, who has attained, who has led, who has done so much. And by all accounts, actually, life is solid on the outside. But you know that there's a deep disconnect inside. You know that you have lost either who you are in the sense of who you are, or you never knew them to begin with. That you no longer know what you want or what's next. That the point you've gotten to is no longer the path you want to be on. And something needs to give. The second person is someone who maybe hasn't suffered, achieved, lived that much, but you see the writing on the wall because the proof is all around you in our world. The number of people who have attained, who've achieved, who've built insane amounts of wealth, and yet are still miserable humans, who are slaves to their money, who become miserly because they are now afraid of losing it when they could literally solve world hunger. Or they're constantly striving and it'll never be enough. When you see examples either in your family or on social media of lives that you're like, I do not want to live that life. And you would like to find an alternative. That you don't have to go through the suffering to know that you want something different. And I think this will resonate both with those two people. Those two kinds of people, or maybe who fit those descriptions and are experiencing elements of those descriptions. Because what you understand, even if you don't know the words for it yet, or you can't quite put your finger on it, but what you understand is that there's a different way to live, that the freedom to be yourself is more important than just about everything else. That to self-actualize, you have to realize your potential and your purpose, but that is not through accomplishment. That is through truth and honesty and a reconnection with the core of who you are, because that's where the truth and the honesty exists. That realizing your potential is not about becoming something out there that magazines write about or that you have a Wikipedia page for. That your purpose is not about achievement or doing. It is about you being you. You're the full expression of you. And those are the people who I really want to support. Because a lot of what I talk about is rooted in core principles, is rooted in really like integrating all the personal growth, self-development, self-help stuff that's out there. It's not about consuming more. It's not about learning more content or information. It's about you practicing and building the muscle to be freely you, so that you can actualize your purpose and your potential. It's about agency and self-directing your life. It's about building comfort with discomfort and uncertainty and the unknown, because that's what life is made of. It's about taking challenges head on instead of avoiding what won't feel good. It's about choosing joy and adventure and experience over convenience. It's about feeling alive and not comfortable. Not that you can't also be comfortable, but the point is not to maintain your comfort. That we are here to experience this wealth of life. That there's a way to live that will bring you so much more peace and joy. It's about cultivating your peace and your joy and your sense of wonder and awe at the world. To be hopeful when the world feels like it's burning. To be able to tap into your compassion when you see someone else who's suffering. To figure out how you will serve yourself and others so you can have a positive impact. Because how we flourish is interconnected with everyone else's flourishing. And it starts with us ensuring that our lives are aligned to what matters, to our principles and our values, that we are spending time, money, and energy on the things that bring us joy and peace and fulfillment in a deep way. Because if we do those things, we'll be that much more grounded, we'll be that much more free, and we'll be that much more able to contribute. Because if we don't feel okay, the last thing we're thinking about is how we can help others. Because we're like, we can't help others if we can't help ourselves. And so what I wish for the world is more of us to figure out what life we are here to live, what matters to us, so that we can stop focusing on our lack, so that we can stop self-obsessing about these inner narratives in our head that are meant to trap us, not free us, so that we can free ourselves to live the lives that are rooted in meaning and purpose and value, so that not only do we feel more love and joy for the world, but that we can create more love and joy for others. Because in the end, none of us exists in this planet, in this life alone. None of us get through this life alone. And we are all here to contribute something. And so if you fit that description, if you resonate with what I've just shared, then I hope this space is helpful for you. And I hope you'll join one of our weekly calls. Well, currently it's weekly. Who knows? The cadence can change. But they're free, regular calls where we talk about and clarify who you are, what you want, and what's getting in the way of you being that person and living that life. Because there's nothing more that I wish for than that, not just so you can be satisfied and fulfilled, but so that the world can benefit from your contribution. And so that we can all move faster to serving our contribution. Because heavens knows, the heavens know, our world needs it.